Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast Retro Life for You, movies of the 1980s. My name is Chris, host of the show, and with us this week, as always, Travis Rollins.
Hey. Travimus Prime.
Travis Prime. He is here.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is waiting.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How'd the
very
weekend
much
go, man?
so. Oh, it was a good one. I didn't work all weekend, so that was nice.
That's always a
Kinda,
plus.
no doubt. Kind of hung out with my little brother. Went and watched Deadpool. Went and watched Twisters the next day. So I got off of work, I believe Friday, and went and watched Twisters with my middle son. Deadpool with my middle son, and then it was last weekend. I went and watched Deadpool, uh, and then Twisters this weekend with Tasha.
and
both.
then,
And then, I watched this little movie from 1987 called Summer School.
It's funny that you bring up summer school, Travis, because today we are diving into that classic 80s comedy that brings back all those summer vibes known as Summer School.
Yeah.
So this movie was released 1987. Hilarious film directed by Carl Reiner. The movie stars Mark Harmon as Freddy Shoop, a laid-back gym teacher who gets roped into teaching a remedial English class over the summer. Joining him in his comedic adventure is Kirstie Alley as the love interest, Robin Bishop, which I believe was the assistant principal or something, or principal, something, I believe something like that. And of course, the talented cast of quirky students that bring so much life and laughter to the film. So,
Robin,
was
it Robin Bishop or Robin Thomas?
Robin Bishop, I got right here.
Okay.
But
we got Vice Principal Phil
Robin
Gills.
Robin Thomas was vice principal, so that might be a typo down here where it says Robin Bishop. That might be a typo.
Maybe.
So it is Robin Thomas, though.
Maybe.
Hit at the box office, grossing over $35 million. It's a mix of humor, heart, and memorable characters has kept a beloved favorite amongst fans of 80s comedies.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah.
And you just saw it today. And today was the first time you've seen it, right?
It is. I did not see this one coming up. Sure enough.
Yeah, I thought that. Now I didn't see it when it first came out either.
Yeah.
It was a few years down the road when I first seen it.
Immediately, what caught my attention is how much Mark Harmon during this time period looked like Dax Shepard. I feel like I need to look these guys up and see if they're related.
All I thought of when I saw Mark Harmon was Leroy Jethro Gibbs. I'm sorry.
Leroy Jethro Gibbs.
Yeah, that's all I got for him.
Who is that? Was that when he was on St. Elsewhere?
Oh, that's NCIS.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's his long-running character he had on NCIS. Now, he's had a couple of great movies before NCIS even got here. I mean, this was obviously one of the good comedies. He had a great movie with Sean Connery called The Presidio.
Okay, I don't know if I've seen that one.
That's actually a great movie. You would like that.
Okay.
Not a comedy. It's like a not a thriller. What did we call Shoot to Kill last week? Not a thriller, but suspense.
Yeah, we called it an action suspense.
Kind of like an action suspense is what this is as well.
Okay.
Him and Sean Connery. So it was pretty good.
I'll check that out. I recognized him from Johnny Behan. He was Johnny Behan in the other Wyatt Earp movie, the not Tombstone movie.
Mark Harmon?
Yeah, he was the sheriff in Wyatt Earp. He was Johnny Behan.
Okay.
That's where I immediately recognized him from that movie.
I didn't remember that because I've kind of tuned that movie out of my mind.
Yeah.
Because it's like I tell everybody. Tombstone.
So it's like I tell everybody, and to my surprise, so many people have not seen Tombstone. So what I like to do too is tell them to go watch Wyatt Earp, because Wyatt Earp with Kevin Costner is a phenomenal movie.
It's a good movie.
Unless you watch Tombstone first, and then it's trash.
Right. Thank you for clearing that up for everybody out there, because I couldn't have put it better myself. I love Tombstone. Unfortunately, I saw Tombstone first.
Me too.
I love Tombstone, and when this movie, when White Earp came out, I was like, okay, this it's not the way I can explain it to everybody. If you've seen the two movies with the asteroids coming to Earth, Tombstone is Armageddon.
Hmm.
White Earp is Deep Impact.
Yeah, I say it like that. White Earp delves into White Earp's actual life too, like more
Yeah,
like pre Death Valley or Sonoma Gulch or wherever the heck they were at.
more story driven, basically, is what it is.
Sonoma Gulch. I like that.
But that is not what we're talking about this week. So we'll just
You.
transfer back to
You
where
know
we
what else
were
got me
here.
though? So I got Mark Harmon. So it's funny to me, man. I'm starting to get this Mandela effect thing going here.
Uh-oh.
Not really, but I was like, that's kind of weird that I thought Mark Harmon looked a lot like Dax Shepard, and I thought Robin Thomas at that point in time looked a lot like not Phil Hartman.
Steve
Oh,
Carell.
come on, Steve. Thank you. Yes, Steve Carell. You saw it too then.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I was like, dang, this is
But that
wild.
was before Steve Carell's time, I believe, though, before he got anywhere near
It
big.
was before Dax Shepard's time
So
too.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you also, I don't know if you noticed or not, the football player, Kevin Winchester,
Mm-hmm.
that's Patrick Laboratory, which I had on the show here for interview one time.
Ah,
So we got a little tie-in with him and his movie.
nice.
Kirstie Alley, I've always just loved Kirstie Alley.
Same.
Her and Courtney Thorne Smith both. Although Courtney Thorne Smith,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care for her. Well, she had that TV series with James Belushi that I liked.
Mm-hmm. You didn't like her in Melrose Place?
I didn't watch Melrose Place.
Oh, that's where I fell in love with her at actually.
I did not. I mean, I remember some of the people from Melrose Place. It wasn't my type
Mm-hmm.
of show. I barely watched 90210,
Okay.
and that was
Okay.
just before Melrose Place. So,
Yeah, and see, I was teenager back then, and I did not like 90210 very much, but I did like Melrose Place. But Melrose Place was more of a grown up show too, though. It was they were living in an apartment complex, so it was a lot more grown up than 90210, but same sort of vibe, you know.
yeah, yeah. Now, this movie, as far as the kids in the summer school class, there's quite a few names that were in there. I just mentioned Patrick Laboratoe. We had Dean Cameron,
Mm-hmm.
Courtney Thorne Smith, Kelly Jo
Mm-hmm.
Minter,
Mm-hmm.
Shawnee Smith, Ken
Mm-hmm.
Olant. Gary Riley, I don't really know for much of anything else,
Mm-hmm.
but here's one for you that you may get a kick out of. Richard Stephen Horvitz played
Mm-hmm.
Alan Ekian. He was kind of like
Alan.
the nerd.
Oh yeah, the one with the annoying little voice. And this is
Yes,
what we're gonna do with the contract. And
exactly. Now, someplace else you might know him from. He is a
I
voiceover artist.
felt like I knew him. I felt the entire show, and here we go again. He reminded me a little bit of Leonard. He
He did remind you of Leonard, doesn't he? But he's
he
not though. I
does,
mean,
but he's
but
not.
no, but he is a voiceover artist here. That's his most
Okay.
recent things that he has done. He attends a lot of comic cons.
Hmm.
Um, Invader Zim, he's the voice of Zim,
Okay.
and the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. He's the voice of Billy and Mogar. It says
Okay.
he's done the Angry Beavers, done the Informant. He's done quite a bit voiceover work.
I
He's
don't
kind of
know
he's
any of
he's kind of
those.
popular for that these days.
Right. It looks like he's been popular for that since the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. So he's
Yeah.
definitely got
So
his
it looks like maybe some of his probably some of his which I'm sure he was disguising it, but some of his Power Rangers work possibly um would be maybe one of maybe some Johnny Bravo. Oh, he's been in WoW too.
yeah, he was it just says patch voice. I mean, I don't recognize. I didn't play much of Dragonflight. That's the one he's in.
Hmm.
Dragonflight, I started losing a little interest in their what we refer to as retail version of the game because they've
Hmm.
got the retail version plus the classic version, and
Hmm.
I've gone back to playing the classic version. So it's it's
Gotcha.
it's just more fun for me.
I got
But
you.
yeah,
That's understandable. Understandable.
understandable. But I
Yeah.
don't know his voice in the other one. I wouldn't be able to pick it out if I was
Hmm.
listening.
Right. Man,
I
he's
just thought
done a
that was cool though.
bunch of
The
stuff.
all the different voiceover work. I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Yeah, and he's done a ton of stuff actually, like a ton.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Now
guess
there's
you would seem kind of familiar
now
with all
you were
that.
talking about people reminding you of people, right?
Hmm.
Ken Oland, the one that slept all the time, reminded me of Jim
Yeah,
Carrey.
a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit of Jim Carrey.
a young Jim Carrey. Yeah, actually, yeah, like Earth Girls
However,
Are Easy, Jim Carrey. Yeah.
yeah, but what you might recognize him from is Leprechaun, though. That's the one that really stood out was Leprechaun.
Yes. He was the one helping Jennifer Aniston paint the house in the beginning of the movie, wasn't he?
I
Wasn't he the
believe so.
boyfriend?
I believe so.
Yeah, cool,
So,
cool, cool.
now, Shawnee Smith, she's been in some things, little bit pieces. She was in that remake of The Blob. She was in Iron Eagle. Kelly Jo Minter, I remember her from The Principal. That's where I've seen her from, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Cameron, those ski movies, Ski School.
I don't remember
He
that.
was one of the instructors that was always partying all the time and everything. And funny enough, Patrick Laborto was in one of those Ski School movies with him.
That ain't the one. That ain't the one where they're there's this movie I can't remember the name of it though. Where they got people in they got this dude in the car that like they're drunk, and they take the car out on the ice and they just start pushing it to make it spin in circles, and then they all start screaming, and he wakes up like they're out of control. You know what I mean? Have you ever
I
seen
believe
this?
so. I believe so, and I think that's Patrick Laborto they put behind the wheel because he was sleeping all the time.
Okay, yeah. It may have been him. Yeah, they put the guy sleeping behind the wheel. Yeah, he was like,
Yeah,
ah. And
the
then the movies. It seems like they had Dean in them from. Was it Dean from the brothers who fight evil?
no, I don't think so. The movie was called Ski School. It was in 1991,
Oh, okay.
so you're not going to see Jensen Ackles, 1991.
Schnackles.
No,
Knackles.
there was also a Ski School 2 they had a sequel to it. They were
Okay.
both good. They were both funny.
Okay.
But these days he's doing music. He's actually playing some live music. He'll go live on Instagram, and while they're playing sets and everything at little bars and such.
Right
So,
on. Cool,
but
cool, cool.
the movie itself, I really found fun. As far as the movie goes, when you think of comedies in let's say the late '80s,
Hmm.
because we don't want to compare it to like the Goonies or anything like that from the early '80s as far as comedies go. But in the late
Yeah.
'80s, how would you compare this to other comedies that came out at the time? I mean, does this stand out to you as being one of the funnier ones you've seen, or is it
No.
kind of average? You think?
I feel like this is very average. I feel like this is one of the reasons I haven't seen it is because it kind of got lost in the mix and overshadowed by some of the other stuff that was going on. This feels like a uh, one of those just passing by thing, kind of like some of the other great ones were, like Loverboy. Loverboy was hilarious, but
Mhm.
never heard of it. You know what I mean? Like don't consider it one of the big box office smashes or something. I wouldn't.
Do you know
Um,
what I consider this movie to be like to me?
what's
And
that?
you'll probably understand what I'm talking about here.
Hmm.
It's a funny movie with some funny moments.
Hmm.
It's summer rental funny.
Yeah.
Just like summer rental was. You watched it, you're like, I don't know, and then it kind of grows on you a little bit. Then it's kind of funny in parts, and the next thing you know, you've rewatched it 2 weeks later to see what funny stuff you missed.
Well,
And then,
yeah, and for me, this movie was forgettable. It was okay. It was fully watchable,
mhm.
but forgettable up until test day. And then I was like, that made me laugh out loud. And I was like, oh, look at these crazies, man. This is awesome.
Funniest line in the movie came on test day.
Yeah.
The
Which
guy from
one?
the guy from day one of class who excused himself to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. He's like,
He
you've been in the
goes,
bathroom for 6 months
"Hey, my zipper got stuck."
or 90 days or something. Yeah. My zipper got
No,
stuck.
it was like I think it was
60
6 weeks.
days, 6 weeks. That's what it was.
I,
6
I, I
weeks.
thought I thought it was 6 weeks. I might be
I had to go
wrong
to the
though.
bathroom. He's like, for 6 weeks?
Yeah, all I know is he came up to him. He goes, "Can I help you?" He goes, "I'm in this class." He goes, "Where you been?" He
Yeah,
goes,
I
"In the
remember you.
bathroom." And he hands him the key, and he goes, For 6 weeks, he said my zipper got stuck.
Yeah.
He's like,
He said,
that's the guy. So he had two of the better lines at the beginning of the movie before he
yeah,
excuses himself to the bathroom. He's like,
the test
I
was
need to
wrong.
pass this. Yeah, the test was wrong. I suggest this time I get a better grade.
Yeah.
He's like, I see you doing well in here.
Yeah. Oh, he stood up and he was like 3 times his size.
Right. Right. It's crazy. Um, like I said earlier, $35 million to the box office. I don't know if it's because of the cast they had in place,
Hmm.
because at the time when it came out, most of these people that's in the movie have had some successful, some other successful movies out there that people knew them from.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I,
And Kirstie Alley and Mark Harmon did another movie together as well. I
uh,
saw that when I was looking at it on um, Amazon. They had another movie like
oh, what's
right
the other
below
movie
this
they
one.
did together?
Hmm.
What is it?
Oh, I can't recall, to be honest with you. So let's
Was it
see.
same
We had
year
summer
or?
school. Yeah, I'm not sure. Hang on just a second. I can let you know.
Well, you do that. Did you know she was in Star Trek too? She was one of the Klingons, I believe.
What?
Yeah,
Kirstie Alley was?
Kirstie Alley is Savik.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that. That's a cool piece of trivia.
Yeah, I didn't know if you knew that or not. Yeah, it's one of her earlier things that she did.
Heck yeah.
And
That's
speaking of
pretty cool.
Loverboy, she was in
Oh,
Loverboy as well.
I don't know how I didn't remember this. It was Prince of Bel Air.
Oh, the TV movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where he was like the pool boy or whatever.
Okay, so funny thing then, Patrick Laborto once again in that movie as well.
Oh, really? He was in there
Yeah,
with them too.
yes.
Crazy.
So yeah, there's another tie-in with them and everything. Things hitting right and left.
Right
Um,
and left.
right and left. Yeah, I would definitely now. So in your opinion, then the success of the movie, or would you really direct it more toward the stars that were in it, or would you say it's all based off of the story itself, the plot to the movie and the antics that come in between?
Well, I mean, we've talked about it before. 1987 is an incredible year for cinema. You had movies like Dirty Dancing, Lethal Weapon, RoboCop, Predator, The Untouchables, Princess Bride, Fatal Attraction, Three Men and a Baby. Uh, I mean, you can name them and name them and name them. And honestly, I think it just got lost in the mix. I think it got overshadowed by everything else that was coming out. Plane, Trains, and Automobiles, Spaceballs, Raising Arizona. Good
You
Morning
know what's funny
Vietnam.
about that though?
What's that?
What's funny about that? The way you're describing it, there's no way this movie would have done any better in '86 or '88 or '89. I mean,
That's
so
true.
many great movies came out in that decade alone.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
but this movie is that type of decade. I mean, that type of movie for that decade
Oh, for
still though.
sure. So it's
It
it's in there. I think it should be lumped in with like Adventures in Babysitting and Look Who's Talking. And Look Who's Talking was huge. I remember. Um,
Kirstie Alley once again.
yeah, exactly. So I really do feel like it's in there with them. I just like I said, I don't think it was. I don't know if it was star power as much as maybe it was, because I mean, quite honestly, there wasn't any kind of compelling. I didn't get any kind of compelling acting out of it. Yeah,
Right.
maybe it was the writing and it that I would say yeah. I would say yeah. It was a flyby, forgettable kind of quick little feel good summer flick. I just yeah.
I definitely agree with you on it for sure.
Hmm.
So, well, a couple of little fun facts here I was seeing. Thought I'd
Hmm.
run by you real quick.
Okay.
We're always talking about them reusing filming locations and everything. We bring this up quite often.
We do. It is interesting.
The same school, and I mean, if you think about it, when you picture them at the school, the same school was used for the filming of the Karate Kid in '84.
Really?
Think about some of the
I
outside
didn't
scenes at
notice that.
school when the kids were going to class or whenever. Johnny and the gang catch Daniel coming across the courtyard there going towards this, and they get the Daniel
Right.
stops the teacher to, hey, I
Mm-hmm.
love the thing in history class earlier. And in the background, you're seeing the school. And then think about them going to the summer school classes. I mean,
Right.
you can see it at that point. If you stop and think about it, you can actually see it
Mm-hmm.
at being the same school.
Yeah, I can see that being the same school where Daniel showed up as a new kid and became the bully. I can
Yeah.
see
Bully Daniel. Justice for Johnny.
justice for Johnny.
Man, poor Johnny. Yes,
Poor Johnny.
I saw a picture earlier with Ralph Macchio from the movie where he's got the backpack slung over his shoulder, got the shades on, trying to look cool and everything.
Yeah.
The caption says, "Come on, he was asking for it, wasn't he? Just look at
Right.
him."
Yeah. Yeah. That's why
Oh god.
you can go back and beat my word out if we need to, but that's like I got one of my absolute favorite memes of all times. It was the one that's got Frodo and Sam.
Uh-oh.
And Sam goes, "How are you today, Mr. Frodo?" And or it says something about some Frodo Baggins. And then it showed down below. It's like one of the cells had Frodo in it. He said, "Oh, it's not Frodo Baggins." And then the next one, he had on like the fake glasses and a chain. He's like, "It's Frodo Swaggins." And then, and then right below it, Sam goes, "Getting real tired of your shit, Mr. Frodo."
That's hilarious. Man, do you remember the scene where he had fired Mark Harmon's character, Shoop. The vice principal fired Shoop, right?
Well, he
And he
resigned
said,
though, didn't he?
well, I guess he was gonna fire him, but he resigned
Yeah,
basically.
he was he was wanting to fire him, yeah,
Yeah,
but
he
he
was
walked
trying
out beforehand.
exactly. So they brought a substitute in. Since Carl Reiner arranged for the scene in which the students try to scare off a substitute teacher with blood effects and gory makeup on October 31st. So
Yeah.
that the actors could wear their costumes and makeup to the Halloween party they were attending that evening. So they wore all the same stuff to their Halloween party that night. But
Heck
do
yeah.
you know who the teacher is? They tried bringing in the substitute teacher was.
No.
Did you recognize her voice in any way or anything? Did she seem
N-
like she reminded you of anybody?
No, just the screaming and all. She
Did
didn't remind
you
me if anybody know.
did you ever watch Little House on the Prairie when you were younger?
Yes. What? No. No way.
She is one of the teachers from the series. She is Amonzo's sister. That was the teacher.
Oh my god.
And I forget her character name in the Little House on the Prairie. Her name was the teacher. Um,
Yeah.
but
That
it was
is
a
crazy.
yeah, it was her.
Well, I just saw she's Eliza Jane Wilder.
Eliza Jane. That's it. Yeah,
Eliza
Miss
Jane.
Wilder.
I'm inside. I just saw a picture of when I looked up, I scrolled back up and seen the photo, and I'm like, holy cow. That really
That's
yeah.
that's the one right there. Yep.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I like that. I used to watch some Little House on the Prairie, boy.
Yeah, I watched it. That's how I recognized who she was. I knew right off the bat who it was.
Yeah, I used to watch it a fair bit out at my grandparents' house. Sure enough.
Um, uh, the movie's notable for featuring a young Courtney Thorne Smith who becomes who becomes famous later on, and because of this, now gets third billing on DVD covers for the movie. Whereas the original theatrical movie, she was even not on the case.
Ain't that
So
something?
she wasn't a big deal in this one at all.
That's
But she
crazy.
later on became somebody though.
Well, that and
Uh,
she didn't have any larger role than anybody else did in it. You know, maybe even honestly, I think as far as for the students with the largest roles, it's got to be Chainsaw and
yeah,
Dave.
yeah, the two there.
Yeah.
They definitely stood out the most. Uh, the of all the characters, like I said, I asked you earlier, which one do you think kind of resonated the most to you? The story. Which story for the character did you like best of the kids in the class?
Okay, so when Denise came out to be dyslexic, I like that because I was like, okay, this is actually dealing with something that's real at this day, and you know what I mean, during this time frame. That's impressive. That
Mm.
impressed. But the one that resonated with me the most, definitely Chainsaw.
Chainsaw.
100% class clown, silly, can do it, but don't do it. Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
I was never the class clown in school, but outside of school with everybody else, definitely the clown.
Yeah.
But the character that stood out the most, the funniest to me, was the sleeper.
Oh, he was hilarious. The stripper, dude, dude,
Even
when he
more,
started telling the story about his mom coming and
yes,
catching him, and then like his aunt made out with him before she pulled his mask off or something.
yeah.
He's like, my mom put a $5 bill in my G string. It's like, God Almighty. Yeah, that's a little traumatizing there, boy. It was
Uh,
a funny. It was a funny movie.
it definitely had it definitely had its moments.
Yeah,
For sure. Is there one moment in particular that stands out to you more than any of the others you think, or
absolutely. The end of it when they're walking down the beach and Kirstie Alley is obviously not wearing a bra.
obviously not? She had the best line in the whole movie. The best line. You think
Hmm.
about it, the best line. I said, Kirstie Alley was always hot. She got the best line in the movie.
Always.
The line where he says, "Can I take you out for dinner tonight?" And she says, "I don't know. We'll talk about it tomorrow over breakfast."
Yeah.
And that dog finally finds a little doll head, washes back up on the beach at the end of it, all
Yeah.
dirty and ragged looking.
Yeah,
And
I love that.
then that dog picks down. Now he wants to play. Now it's all about playing.
Yeah, now I want to have
And
fun.
force his
That
way
and
between the two of them.
I liked it when they went on their field trip where Chainsaw and Dave uh when they first did their makeup thing to the exchange student.
Yeah,
That was pretty good. I like that one too.
yeah. Um, the film's main movie poster featured a blurb that read back when it came out. It says, "In at Oceanfront High, what do they call a guy who cuts classes, hates homework, and lives for summer vacations? Teacher."
Teacher. Heck yeah. What
Here's
did you
you
think
another
about the
one.
dynamic? What did you think about the dynamic with Pam?
Uh,
Because this actually dealt with a lot of stuff that
so
has
the
gone
thing
on
was,
through high schools.
it did, and that thing with Pam, I thought that the way she presented it to him and the way he handled it was done well because as the character, playing Shoop the teacher, I don't
Hmm.
know how old he was supposed to be in it, but
Right.
she's practically throwing herself at him and
Hmm.
saying, "Have you ever done that with one of your students before?"
Hmm.
And he was like, "No, I forget what it was. It was it skating or something or surfing or something
What?
they had that he had done with one of his students before. And he mentioned that he'd be too out of breath to do anything with one of his after that, do anything else, just to
Ah,
be funny about it. But
yeah.
uh, the thing where also she had nowhere to go and she wanted her wish to be granted was to have a place to stay and stay with him.
Hmm. Right.
So he allows her to stay with him for a few days, which ends up being probably more like a week or two, I think it was.
It seemed like it.
Um,
Yeah.
and then he's got to set her straight
And he
eventually,
was
let her know.
ignoring her. Yeah, he was letting her go too far because he was ignoring her when he came in and she was like, "Hey, hi, honey, how was your day?" or something.
Mhm.
It was like, "Oh
Right,
Lord,
making dinner. You gotta let me know if you're bringing company over so I can make enough food.
yeah." It was like, "Oh man,
Um, he got a little creepy till he straightened it out. Said, "Look,
yeah."
but it's not like he was taking advantage of the situation. He was
He was
ignoring
not.
things.
Yeah, not at all. He was just trying to be a good dude.
Yeah, and then same thing for Chainsaw and Dave, where he had claimed they were holding alcohol for him, so they didn't get in trouble
Yep.
with the law. Then he got arrested instead,
Right.
trying to be the good teacher to protect the kids and everything in any way he can, do what he can for the kids. Ends up helping all of them actually. If you think about
Hmm.
it, he helps. Was her name Denise? You said
Yeah, she was
Kelly
the one
Jo
that was
Mentor.
dyslexic,
Yeah,
trying to drive. I think that was
it helps
Denise.
her out with her driving lessons where she gets her license.
Hmm.
Gets her to reach out and get help for her dyslexia.
Yep.
Gets Chainsaw and Dave to actually sit down and study a little bit and do a little bit better than what they were. It's funny
Hmm.
overall they had failing grades as a class, but each one of them improved in some form or fashion.
Doubled or tripled their
That
scores from the
right, so
last time.
that's which is what the teaching was supposed to be about, according to the principal when he was hearing the whether he should get um to stay on basically
Yeah.
or not. So
Yeah, he granted him tenure.
tenure, that's what I was trying to think of. Thank you. That
Mhm.
same high school, other than the Karate Kid, there's another movie that pops up it was in. Can you take a guess of what horror movie that was
Oh,
a sequel that had
that
nothing
what
to do with the
that
rest of
what
the
popped up in?
movies? A
What
high
popped up in
school,
it?
Oceanfront High. Same school used in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge in '85.
Oh, the school where they filmed it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't understanding what you were saying. I wouldn't have got that either though. I would have said something like my science project.
Now, I knew this already before I saw this movie. I've known this for a while. But did you know Mark Harmon played football in the past?
Yeah, wasn't he? Didn't he actually do some commentating or something?
No, he was quarterback at UCLA in the '70s.
Oh, okay.
So he actually played football in college.
Yeah. Seemed like somebody did some commentating too.
He may have at some point. I'm not sure, but mentioned earlier to you, but the substitute coming in, played by Lucy Lee Flippin.
Yeah, he was a
Uh,
broadcaster. He was a broadcaster.
was he okay?
Yeah,
I thought he might have done some broadcasting earlier on. That maybe that got him in the movies afterwards or something.
may have.
But anyway, this is the second time Lucy Lee Flippin, the substitute teacher that doesn't last long, played a teacher to Patrick Laborto. She was his teacher also in Little House on the Prairie because he played Andy Garvey on Little House on the Prairie.
That's crazy.
So many tie-ins with this movie.
Yeah, there's lots and lots, down to the shirt that he wore. It was a tie-in. The shirt that he wore, it's a Hawaiian shirt that he wears, is the exact same one that Duke Kanamoku, the same exact Duke Kanamoku model Montgomery Clift wears in the feature film From Here to Eternity in 1953.
Mm. Well, I got one more piece of trivia for you, and I'm going to let it go.
I like it. Let's hear it. What do you got?
I said earlier to you that this had like it had a summer rental kind of humor to it.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be because
of Carl Reiner?
Thank you, because Carl Reiner. This is the second movie he has done with the word summer in it. The other one being Summer Rental in '85.
Yeah.
Both produced by Paramount Pictures. I did not know that. I just read it. I'm like, wow. And I just mentioned the similarities in the style and the humor and everything.
Right.
The comedy. So I mean I'm sure that's exactly the reason why.
Maybe one day when we get fans, they're gonna hold your feet to the fire over that. We can't be talking about one movie directed by Carl Reiner and then talk about another one 3 months later.
You know what?
If
that's the case,
Carl Reiner.
If that's the case, I can't end on that note. I got to throw one more at you, and then we'll wrap things up. I can't end on that note now that you said that.
Yeah,
Mark Harmon that played Shoop guest starred in 2 season 8 episodes of JAG in 1995 because he was already doing NCIS, which was a spinoff of JAG. Okay. That became the pilot for NCIS in 2003. Patrick Laborto, Kevin, starred in 208 of the 227 episodes of JAG and 3 episodes of NCIS. So they have shared time also.
That is crazy.
In those TV series as well.
Them dudes, they're like the low key Corys,
aren't they? Everything together, man. Everything.
Yeah,
man. Well, overall, final words on the movie. Let me know what you.
Hey, you know what? I got one though. I got one little piece of trivia.
Okay.
Kirstie Alley's name in the movie was Robin.
Yeah.
Remember, Robin was the short dude that played the Robin was the name of the English dude from Cheers that she was dating.
He was.
With the one that was he played. What was it? He played in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yes.
He was the sheriff.
He wasn't the sheriff for that.
Yeah, he wasn't the sheriff. He was.
Yeah, he was. He was the sheriff of Rottingham.
Was he the sheriff of? Yes. Yeah. it was Prince John that kept having the mole move every scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
the yeah. That's him. Okay,
Yep.
back to what you said.
Now, your final thoughts on the movie?
Final thoughts on the movie. I would say, if you got some time to waste and you want just a good old throwback, feel good, or if you're a fan of any of the stars of the film, like Kirstie Alley. If you're a fan of Kirstie Alley, for sure go watch it. She got some good screen time on it. I wouldn't rush out to see it, but all in all, if you got an hour or two to waste, hour and a half, it's worth watching. But there's so much from the '80s though that like it might take you a while might take you a little while. But this is the perfect time of year to watch it, with it being summer.
That is true. That's why we're doing it right now. It fits.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. My final thoughts for me. Definitely a movie worth watching if you're a fan of the '80s style comedies.
Mm-hmm.
It has the same feel as most of the others do. Same similar type of humor, especially when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to the movies based around school and kids in school and everything. You get a lot of the same shenanigans and hijinks from there. So definitely well worth a watch. If you don't like it after that point, well, you saw it. You got the little bit of humor out of it. You don't watch it no more, not a loss. But
I don't think anybody will watch it and be like, "That was a terrible movie," or "That
no,
was a waste of time."
I don't think so either. I mean, it's definitely a worth a watch. It's just
Yeah.
it might not go on your all time favorite list. We'll say
There
that.
you go. There you go.
So definitely worth it though. All right, well let's go ahead and wrap everything up here then. Before we wrap up today's episode, though, I do want to take a moment to thank each and every one of the people out there that are tuning into us. I keep seeing the growth on the show all the time. You guys' support and enthusiasm is what keeps the show going.
Absolutely.
Uh, we definitely truly appreciate the likes and the shares and the comments on the stuff we put up and everything you guys are doing in the social media. Basically, and I can speak for myself. Truly, it means the world to me how much you're enjoying the trip down memory lane because
Mm-hmm.
we've been doing this for about 2 years now, Travis. Roughly
Yeah.
over 200 episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and it is just super fun.
Oh, no doubt.
I'm glad there's some people who are actually enjoying it and
No doubt. And
having fun with us as well.
I hope some people that hear this, like, and will go back and catch movies like Arena, the one that just came out of nowhere for both of us. This movie called
Right,
Arena that was
right.
just spectacular. So I'm hoping that a lot of people will go back and appreciate our old cinematic journey and some of the things that maybe they have missed too. And that feeling of nostalgia, man, you can't beat it. You can't beat it.
No, you really can't. That's why we do this because it's so fun just to reminisce about it and remember these things and to rewatch and relive them again too. So
Absolutely.
I mean, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Retro Life for You and your favorite podcast platform. We're on Spotify and iTunes and everything, practically anywhere you get your podcasts at. That way, you'll never miss an episode. And while you're at it, follow us on the social medias. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, please don't forget subscribe to us on there
You
and hit
hit
that bell
that bell.
notification. Right, hit that
Ring a
bell.
ding ding. You
And
got
why
to
do
do
you?
what the box says. Ring ding 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 ding.
And why do we hit the bell?
So
Is
you
it
get the
just to hear what the fox
notifications.
says?
So you get so you'll never miss an upload. You'll get all the
Never,
notifications and
never
know
miss
when
an
our
upload.
silly selves
That's
are
right.
on the YouTubes for your
And
listening, or maybe even if you know what I mean. Hey, maybe sometimes even for your viewing pleasure. When I get out of the way and let you see
when
my
you get out of the
toys.
way, exactly, exactly. Oh my gosh! But you know what though? Even better than that, if you guys like what we're doing and you want to support the podcast even more, you can head over to the website www.retrolife, the number 4, the letter u.com. There's a link in the show notes in all the shows that will take you directly to our support page. Every contribution helps us keep bringing you the content that you guys love, and it improves the show for everyone. Eventually, it will get things for us like people on the show we can talk to an interview that we might not have normally gotten because there's a small fee for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely makes
Mm-hmm.
it worthwhile. And, for those that want to, I believe it's set up in increments of 1, 3, and $5 in that form right there.
Yield.
Maybe one day we'll work something out to where we'll get like a a small membership section with some extra content that's only for members or something.
Yeah.
So
If
we'll work.
nothing else, you know, $3 to $5, maybe we'll get one of those little Dollar General store boxes of Totino's pizza rolls so we can have sustenance during the podcast.
Sustenance. Travis, do you want to leave us with anything this week, man?
Yeah, actually, so this was pretty good. And since in our movie we were teaching English class, I have a wonderful, mild little Johnny story.
Johnny has mild stories.
He has a few, not many.
Okay.
We're going to call it mild. We'll let the viewers decide. So Johnny was in English class one day, and the teacher asked if anyone has ever heard the word contagious before. And Johnny raised his hand and said, "Of course, teacher, I've heard it. My dad actually said it yesterday when we were talking." And she said, "Can you repeat it for the class and tell us how he used it in a sentence?" He said, "Sure. We were watching the neighbor take his trash out, and the bin tipped over, spilling the trash all over the driveway. And Dad said, it's going to take that contagious to pick that up."
Oh, it's terrible.